Okay, so it's 5:15. I always feel like I got to do this recap of the night because they're all weird. I swear to God, when you start really letting go of all of the other stuff, you start really realizing how everything is just going. It's just going. And we're always just trying to put it together in a weird way, but it's just like going. Like and we try and schedule things like I was thinking how important it is, and I talked about this a long while ago, but I was thinking about it again yesterday. It's something I had seen, and I was like, the way people just go and do something because it's supposed to be done at that time. It's a scheduled occurrence. Well, I got to brush my teeth twice a day. And the doctor says, the dentist says, my mom told me, all of this kind of stuff. Everything that we do is just like we do it because, well, we're supposed to do it then. That's what we're supposed to do. And then when you stop doing that, and you don't have to stop completely, but to me, it starts just questioning, well, are my teeth dirty? Do I need to brush them right now? Am I doing it just because I was told? Am I doing it just because it's a scheduled occurrence? Or am I doing it because I need to do it? I think that is the question we got to start asking ourselves and all this stuff. Don't just do something because someone told you to do it. Do it because your teeth feel dirty. If your teeth feel dirty, go brush them. If they don't, maybe you don't need to brush them. Maybe that was all bullshit. I've seen some crazy things about this stuff with the teeth thing. I mean, there's people who never brush their teeth and don't get any cavities. There's stuff about some of the toothpaste and stuff pull things out of our teeth and off of our teeth to make them have more damage. Like, there's all sorts of information out there, so you got to tune into yourself, not just like, well, that's what they said. Well, they want us to schedule our poisoning. Yes, make sure you get it at this time, this time, this time. You can get them in your 3 meal. Like, all of this stuff is scheduled. So just start asking yourself. And this is a weird one, because the hair thing is a constant. Deprogramming yourself is not just a quick thing. It is a constant, like, oh my gosh, is my hair dirty? I'm constantly like smelling it. Like, does it smell dirty? It doesn't smell like anything. And, but yesterday after I had done that rinse, I was like, oh man, I like it. It's like a little drier, a little bit more fluffier. And then, as the day went on, and I went in and did my brushing, and I was like, oh my God, there's 10 times the amount of sebum that has come out. It's like my hair wasn't happy that I rinsed it all out. It's like, oh, what? We're in a battle here. My hair's battling me. I'm trying to figure out what to do, and it keeps trying to show me. So it's this constant, every fucking thing I do, then it just will shoot out more of it. It's like, okay, maybe you're not supposed to rinse your hair that much. Maybe we're really not supposed to even get it wet all the time. I don't fucking know. This is shit we got to figure out for ourselves. And all of our hairs are all different. We all have different DNAs and stuff like that. This, we're such a huge mix. Like, they want to tell us, no, they've been fucking mixing us with all sorts of fucking things off other planets and shit, other beings. They got hybrids. They got all sorts of shit here. So anyways, you got to pay attention for yourself, like what to do. Because of all of the differences in our hair, but nobody's like telling us. I just kind of go with this idea of, well, this is a natural thing. This is naturally happening in our hair, and we're fighting a natural thing, like in all the other places. And even think about this because when I started hearing about like your temperature, this is a nurse, like, we're taught, oh yeah, you gotta get the temperature down and all that shit. And then I started hearing things throughout this awakening thing is like, no, your body raises its temperature in order to kill what's inside of it in a natural progression. So then once it kills it, your temperature goes back down. And then, and it naturally kills this stuff, whatever it is, it processes it and it builds your immunity, builds you stronger to do this little action. And what do? They tell us, oh, run in, get tired, do all this shit. Then, oh, you probably need antibiotics. All this stuff to interfere with our natural occurrences. And so that's how I keep looking at the hair thing and stuff. Like, okay, this is a natural occurrence that is happening. So I've got to figure out, like, I just don't want to go with the ways that we've been told. You know, you got to wash your hair. That's dirty. That means your hair's dirty. I don't see it as being dirty. Like, there's no dirt in it. It doesn't smell. Yeah, it's a different texture than what I'm used to. But I don't know. Everybody's got to do their own. But this is what's weird. Is like, now I'm seeing people share this girl's video. Because when I saw it the first time, I was just like, I think they just turned up the microwave. Fuck, got hot in here all of a sudden. God, that happens sometimes. Fuck, it's weird. It's just all of a sudden, it's just like you just get heated up. And you just start feeling like I'm sweating to death. God, that's weird. So this woman, oh man, I might have to open the door. This woman, she put this video out. And so it kind of reminds me of stuff I say. But this was a little, like, I'm not here yet. Like even on the drinking the urine, like I've heard those things, you know, it makes sense. Yeah, our body's filtering, and then that's the most filter, just like the same thing when it does the temperature, when it goes through and it filters through your body. Supposedly all that filtration gets it to this really pure thing, and these people drink their urine and their stuff. Like, what got me was the blindness thing, you know. So I've been doing other things to make my eyes better, and they have gotten so much better. Like, if I wouldn't have been doing anything and I just would have been going with what they did, I wouldn't be able to draw. I'd probably be blind by now. I'd probably barely be able to see. So, but I went the other direction. Not the direction they told me. I went on my own. It's an adventure. You got to figure it out on yourself. And, you know, I'm still trying to figure shit out with Stella all the time. But this girl, so her video is, we shouldn't use toilet paper. No other animal uses toilet paper. Why are we using toilet paper? It's probably full of chemicals. It probably, confirmation. And I've seen so many people do that. Like, it's hilarious. So, confirmation. But it always does kind of fit in, doesn't it? But anyways, so she said that, you know, it's all chemicals and stuff. Why are we? And so I'm thinking, okay, she's probably going to push on the bidet. She probably got a bidet and is trying to tell people, just wash off with water and clean yourself. And, you know, you'll feel cleaner. And so I'm thinking that she's kind of going in that direction. Oh no. When it started getting shared now and I was seeing, and so I was listening, like, okay, so what is it people are interested in? Does everybody just want to say, like, ooh, gross, she doesn't wipe her butt? Because she hasn't wiped in 2 years. She doesn't clean it after. She just, it's strange. Like, she's gone all animal for show. Like, I'm not there yet, because she hasn't wiped in 2 years, and so she is talking about, you know, like, well, animals don't, you know, it's cleaner, you're probably getting poisoned and all this shit. But then all of a sudden she goes, you know, and when I use she uses a litter box. She no longer uses a toilet. She uses a litter box. I clicked off of it then. I didn't keep listening. I was like, okay, is this for real? Is this girl just trying to say all this stuff and is just trying to make a weird thing, or is she for real? Is she really going in and crouching over a litter box and going to the bathroom, letting it come out, like crouching like an animal? Because it would be the way we sit, probably, is why, you know, I don't know. It has something to do with diet too, because there's, you know, sometimes you wipe and like, I don't know how you could go without cleaning sometimes. Like, what? Like, sometimes maybe okay. You know, are you just, you know, do you have a very dried out, like, are you just going to the bathroom raisins or something? Like, it's a little strange. But I don't want to be judgmental. Like, but to me, if you want to stop using toilet paper, probably is just, you know, get a bidet. Just, you can you can order. My daughter even got one of these. You can order this bidet thing, and then you hook it up to your own water thing, and you put it on your own toilet, and then after you go to the bathroom, you just turn a little knob, shoots water up, which is shocking. It shoots this water, and it can be cold. You want to get it on the warm water, and it shoots it up there and cleans it all. And then I still feel like you gotta still dry it, still wipe some. So I don't know. I mean, I'm in the battle with my hair, my teeth, all this kind of stuff. Because the thing with the oil pulling and stuff, Like, it could very well be just doing oil pulling for our whole lives and we would never get cavities. Like, this is shit we got to figure out for ourselves. You know, just going in and scrubbing your teeth all the time, you know, we could be taking off the natural coatings that we need on there. We're all worried about like fluoride. Like, I have an anti-fluoride toothpaste in there, that minty one. Sometimes when I just want that minty flavor, you know, because the toothpaste that I made that has the bentonite clay, the charcoal, the cloves, oil, like there's lots of different recipe things you can just go make. And then, it doesn't really have any flavor or anything. You can put mint and stuff. Like, I've got spearmint, spearmint essential oil, which smells so good. And you put it on your face, and it's supposed to cut down on the hair on a woman's face. I haven't seen that. Like, I'm trying to just quit worrying about the hair on my face. Like, it's not like, it's so weird. That's another thing for women, how they get it in our heads. If you have hair on your face, that means that, you know, you have to take it off or something. And then, yeah, and my hair is like a peach fuzz, but it still is, I don't know. There's something to women. I mean, they've got all these women using these little tiny razors, like that is not going to make you have stubble. And then there's huge amounts of women, so many women, young girls who have stubble now. I have been telling my kids, because my mom told me that a long time ago. She said that my aunt had told her, don't ever shave this hair right here, because it will turn into stubble. And so I always was just like scissors or, and I've got these big moles. I've got moles on my face, and moles grow hairs out of them. And so, you know, I was like a tweezer person, pull the hairs out of my moles kind of thing. And then as you get older, you just get these weird, wild hairs. You also get this hair growing. It's like, what? Where do you come from? It's always weird. Like, you can find those down here. I don't think, this probably isn't a man thing. This is probably something that they're doing, I don't know, probably with messing with all the hormones in the food. Like, that's a big thing. Especially when they got frogs changing genders, and then, but tell us, keep on doing it. It's like, you're just waiting to see how long we start changing genders? Is that what the whole thing is, where everybody keeps saying that men are so feminine now? They're trying to turn them all into women? I don't know. I saw, this was interesting because somebody had shared this footage, and it was all of these men who were being loaded onto a bus. The two officials are standing there, definitely military, and they're going through this, I say a gate, like a whole backyard full of men, which I would say that by the looks of it, it looked Middle Eastern. So all these men standing back there with backpacks and stuff like that. And then these two officials by this gate, a bus that's sitting here. And as they go through the gate, this is interesting. It's like, well, that's a quick, smart way to do it. We're not going to sit and measure each of you to make sure. We're just going to put a string across. If you go above the string, you're in. If you're below the string, you're out. And so they just had a string. I don't know what the height was. There was a lot of guys that were way taller than it. And then there was some that couldn't meet it. So I would guess it was probably like 6 foot or something. I don't know. It could have even been lower. But anyways, all the guys that were, and it was all men of a certain age group. And they were all being loaded onto a bus. And the person is like, what's this all about? And, but to me, it seemed kind of more of a good sign. Like, how many of these places, like I said, that this is how the UN gets their soldiers, is, you know, criminals and stuff like that. So people, maybe they do a little favor, let you out a little early, but we got a job for you. So it's all different things, and they have different handlers in different positions. Like, I would think that there's probably a lot of handlers that we call parole officers. Probably a lot of handlers in the CPS, a lot of handlers in all of the government agencies. And then they hire regular employees that are always confused by the standard of care, or the, what is that? Always the administration It never matches what you should be doing. It's always, they go with the numbers, not the people. When you're the person on working, you know, you're with the person. So it's like, well, we got to think about what they're saying. Nope, it doesn't match the numbers. So those people who are up there don't give a fuck. And see, we're the ones down there feeling their pain, you know, as a nurse, like, but that's in so many different arenas in our system. It's just like a part of the whole thing. But to me, it seemed like when they were just taking all those guys, because none of those guys look mean. So many of them just look like, hell yeah, free ride over there. And then I just disappear. So I don't know. I would say that they are probably bringing a lot of people over here who just want to get over here, just want out of their country. But they're not, don't intend to come over here and try and kill us. Like, they could be that they are bring them over, because all this is going to, you know, it's going to be like a chaos, and then it's going to be a collapse. So, but we don't know what the chaos is. It's like building up all around us. Like, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this. And then it's all building up around us. But it's building that tension. It's keeping us on guard, you know, where people say their head's on a swivel. It's like, fuck, it has to be. Like, it's coming from us from all sides. You got to be prepared for anything. And, but the biggest thing on the being prepared is just be prepared so you're not panicking, so that you are ready for whatever goes down. And I mean, it's been so much about that we're going to have to be a certain period of time, and we have to, there's not meaning getting to the store and having food and stuff. And so, you know, you got to be prepared for that. I was thinking about going to the food bank this morning, and I was like, fuck. I mean, Stella and I are, she's not having any meat right now. I went through the cans and I got some green beans, some peas. I even found some, what was this? Collard green. And she likes cabbage. And so I mixed all those up, and I had this one food bank can of tuna, which is, I don't know what the fuck that is. It is like mostly liquid with little tiny, like, for sure there is some funk that I feel bad. I feel bad feeding it to Stella. I can't believe people eat some of this shit. And so I mixed it up, and she's digging it. So I think I have enough to get, because Thursday, I'll record Thursday morning, and I will try and make sure that it's all the way on before I go. But god damn, the past couple days, I'll finish, and it will be finished. It will say it's already all the way to processing by like 8 in the morning. And then still, look how long it takes, like 12:30 it goes on. So I probably will leave before that, because I got to manage the traffic to get through Seattle. So I will leave sometime in the morning. So I'll record that day. And then I take my stuff, and I might just sit in my room, because at this place, it's like a big house. We have a private pool. It's really cool. It's like having your own, like, a little private hotel or something. So there's, and I don't know for sure how many people are going to be there. But so I should have my own room, though, and I will record if I can. But the thing is like, it's kind of like when the things that I talk about are all like people's stuff or something. When I go on and I look and see out there, then I don't know. I just, sometimes when I get around everybody, there's just no time. I don't even pick up my phone. I don't see my phone. My phone just sits somewhere, and I don't ever do anything with it. But then sometimes in the morning, because I get up so early, I'm up so much ahead of everybody else that it's like perfect time. And last time I sat out by the pool and talked during sunrise, but we'll see. I'll just see how it goes. But I'm going to take my stuff. I'm going to try and record for sure, probably Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then I'll be leaving and going to my daughter's. And then it gets really hard. When I'm at my daughter's, it's just like way too crowded. I don't have my own space. I sleep on the couch. And so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But if I don't record, that's why. It's just, and then I'll get to it. And it's always like on the way home. It's hard. It's just like 4 hours of just this, oh, my brain is going to explode. Okay, talk about this. Oh, and it always goes in deeper. And then shit's going on at the same time while I'm driving. And it's like they're showing me that. And oh my gosh, it's intense. And so I probably will do the same thing because I do like it when I get up and I leave early there. And then I get here and I can still record early. So I would say probably for sure Tuesday I should be back to, regular and make sure to record each morning. But also don't forget, like all of the things, I may not be talking about exactly what current things are happening right this minute. But still, I think in all the different videos, it has, things to think about while you're trying to heal. Things to just look at it just a little different. Just because that's the thing. They want to keep us so locked into this perspective that they feed us. And breaking free from it is difficult. You got to have some weirdos like me out there saying so that you can feel. It's just so crazy because there's just, I think that people are just starting to realize that we're all weird. We're all weird. We were trying to all be this perfect idea of a person that they were trying to make, and it's just impossible. We can't be this thing that they want us to be. We have to be ourselves. And this was yeah, I saw the amount of kids missing goes up. It keeps going up in Hawaii, and then there keeps being nothing. Just numbers going up, no parents, no pictures, no solutions, no information, just Doper and Rock out there begging for money. Now their friends have given them, they're trying to say they have this amount of money. I bet they gave it themselves just to save face because nobody was giving shit. And, or it's just Gail. Gail gave the money. It's like, Oprah, you got fucking money. And it's just, check, you're going to have to face the facts. Nobody likes you. Everybody knows. You're friends with John of God. You're friends with people. Your shady shit happens at your orphanage. So yeah, fuck off with your girls' school, whatever the fuck it is. This cover. It's always their little cover to just, we're gonna help them. We're gonna bring them all here. But it just gets so strange with the missing buses and all these kids, and it just goes up and up and up. And how, for the politicians, that's their favorite hot dog stand. That's their very favorite hot dog stand. It's like so fucking disgusting. God damn. Can you imagine talking about us like by our flavor? What the fuck? God damn. Fucking sick motherfuckers. God damn. So, but I saw this guy and, he always does videos. Like he's a big creator. I don't know how many followers or has anything, but he's and he makes jewelry. I don't know his whole thing. Sometimes I just see him talking, and there's like all different types of people out there that are content creators that are to me it's like inside the body, there's all these different veins all leading to all these different places. And that's kind of like what all of the creators is like. They all have a different way of getting somewhere. Like they all have a different purpose. They all have a different part they're playing. But each part is so important. Even the ones that are just like, oh my gosh, the one girl who I talked about who just has been so back and forth with her husband, and it is so much drama, and it's always on the thing and stuff, and whatever she's going through publicly and how she's handling it, all of that stuff. See, there's a lot of people who follow her who that helps them. It helps them to possibly leave their own relationship, to possibly see things differently. And so they're at that level. They need that to follow. So everything everybody's talking about is necessary for somebody. Everybody's at different levels of their understanding of what they're working on or trying to understand or do or whatever. And so it's all different. And but so he a lot of times he was always just kind of, I don't know, just kind of a deeper, and just the problems in the world with being deep in a shallow world, man. It's kind of like, and he makes really cool jewelry all by hand, really cool stuff, like really cool. And it's different. It's not just stones wrapped. He makes something with metal and pounding and designs and stuff. It's really cool. But so today he said that, he's going to probably lose a lot of his followers because they're going to see him differently. A lot of people probably don't know he's getting divorced. He's been married for 17, he's been with the same woman for 17 years. They have 2 kids. They've been married for 11 years. And his son's handling it okay. His daughter is doing pretty good. He didn't say about his wife. He said, you probably, if you've been following me a long time, you've probably seen her and stuff because I've had videos, where she's in it and stuff. And he said, and it's really hard, and there's going to be, but I fell in love with somebody else. And, and I got to choose me. Oh, this is going to make me cry. Because it's so true. And he's causing so much pain to his wife. Like, I imagine, she's probably like this other girl and this other one. I imagine this girl is going through so much stuff. You got a husband. Oh, and he's very good looking too. And he's a hard worker. He's always out there making stuff. I don't know what if he just makes all his money from selling jewelry. I don't know what all he does. And, but I'm sure, she felt a lot of security in her relationship. But who knows? He said that, there's a lot of arguing and stuff. They got together when they were like 18. And so, that's a hard one to go through and figure that you're going to be together forever. But so many people are willing to accept feeling like shit, being beat down, arguing and fighting every day. Some people are willing to accept that as life. Like, oh, it's life. That's the way it is. There's a lot of people. There's women who think, well, yeah, a guy's going to abuse you. That's just the way it is. You just accept it. It's like, what? Why? That is a part of your journey to learning what you will and will not accept. It isn't that you, it's that personal question of, what is your value? How do you decide if this person doesn't value you and treats you bad? Does that mean that you have no value, or do you need to recognize your own value and see for yourself? And that's what I think. I think this is all about us recognizing our own value and stepping into ourselves. And I don't know his whole thing. This is his first time of even coming out about it, I guess, that he, I guess cheated on his wife and is leaving her. And, but that's the thing about that I keep trying to talk about, the bad guy, the good guy. Okay, so in this scenario now, he's playing the bad guy. So he is, he's taking a stand in what he wants and what feels right to him. That relationship wasn't fulfilling him. Yeah, he made some lifetime commitments at a time when he was still a child. And that's something that people have to accept about themselves too. As all of this stuff, I gotta get a drink because I've got a piece of, I had a cup of tea. And I feel like I have one of those little tea, like a tea ground or whatever, like a coffee ground. I feel like there was one sitting there on my tongue. I swear, I can do the weirdest things. I find myself doing this all the time. It's like, I don't know if I just, like, a little thing will come out of my tooth or something, like a tiniest thing. And I can find myself throughout the day just sitting there chewing on this tiny little seed or something. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. Because I'll just notice that I'm just sitting there chewing and chewing and chewing. I'll be like, what the fuck am I chewing on? And I'll be like, oh my God, it is a tiny thing. What in the hell am I doing? I'll do that all the time. I think we do so much shit that is so mindless that we just don't even realize it. We're just like it's all state of consciousnesses, It's all about this becoming more and more aware of yourself. But you got to become aware of what it is you need and be willing to be the bad guy to step into your truth. And that is where you know, I mean, he's going to hurt her, but in the long run, it's going to be better for her, you know, because this happened in my last breakup. You know, it surprised me. It hit me because I thought I was going to be the one who would leave. I did not see it coming. He was going to leave me. I thought I was the one holding this together. I was the one who was just being treated so bad. It really surprised me too because, you know, when he was going to go to counseling, then as soon as he started, oh no, we got to talk about the relationship first, because he didn't want to be in the relationship. He got together with me because he saw me as security. I was, you know, older than him. I had a good job. I was a nurse. I made a lot of money. And besides, he was so programmed because his mom, who had gone to work at the hospital when she was a child, like her high school job, she went to work at the hospital and in the kitchen. And so her whole time, well, she didn't raise him the whole time. There's so much rejection, so much abuse, so much. This is so common too. I've heard this story so fucking many times. How many women got together with the second husband, the stepdad, and the stepdad's impatience and aggression towards the kids, and the stepmom just turns the other direction. It's more desperate for her needs to be met, for her to have someone to take care of her. Even in the confrontation where he confronted his mom when he was 15 and he had just taken this last beating, like he would get the shit beat out of him. And he had taken this last beating, and this started when he was really little. His story was so strange because his mom had gotten together with the guy, and the guy is kind of like the wrong side of the tracks kind of situation. Like the family saw him as like low class or something, criminal, you know, kind of like, I don't know, like a James Dean, and she's like Natalie Wood or something. And so and they had a farm, and his grandparents were farmer, or they had a big farm. I think they farmed. They seemed interesting people. And but the guy, somehow it's like endless love or something. He burns their whole fucking house down. And so there's all this stuff where the kids were never allowed to see that side of the family. It was a whole weird thing. And even because he ended up meeting them when he got older, but a lot of them had died and stuff. I don't think he got much relationship with his grandma. And it was kind of sad because the aunt who talked about this, who was telling me these stories, she said that the grandma would go, she kind of knew the general area where she had moved the kids to. In this neighborhood where she thought that the daughter-in-law or the ex-daughter-in-law had moved to. She would just go drive around the neighborhood all day. Oh, it makes me so sad. Like, I have a relationship with my, you know, the ex-son-in-laws and stuff, because that's the kid's parent. It's not, you know, because someone gets divorced, doesn't seem, they're not parents anymore. And so, she completely cut them out. She wouldn't let them ever be seen by this other family. And where the family's driving around looking, it's just sad. And had to go all that time with these little kids being taken. And then the mom got together with this abusive, oh my gosh, really abusive man, which I think he was, you know, doing the essay with the daughter, because there's a lot of weird shit or there's some payoffs on this daughter thing. There was some weird stuff where I was like, okay, no, that's weird. That's weird. That's for sure weird. And but when he was 15 and he had this beat down, and he went and told his mom, said, I can't do this. You're going to have to pick between me and him. And the mom said, I pick him. I pick security. I'm sorry. See ya. And so a 15-year-old kid, right, I know he went to a friend's house, and then the stepdad showed up there beating him up out there on the front porch. And then the dad of the kid who he was staying with, these are people he knew for, boy he grew up with. So he knew the parents and stuff. And the parents told him, nobody stopped the dad from beating him up. That was just okay. There was so much of that kind of shit. Like, people don't realize how stuff was back then. People could just beat the snot out of their kids. And so he was just beating the snot out of his kid on this guy's front porch. And then they let him. And then the guy leaves. And then they tell him that he needs to not go back there. He needs to just go find his grandparents, go to his grandparents. So he went out and started staying with his grandparents. And the mom just blew him off. Even, things got even weirder. Like, parents have really got to think. People are so stuck in their own need to be cared for that they don't know how to care for others. Everybody's so fucking broken. So broken. You hear the stories and it's just like, these are broken people. They don't know how to heal. They don't know how to fix themselves. They're just lost. They don't even know why things go wrong. And so when he was staying with they didn't go to his high school graduation. He still went to school, did everything, graduated high school. They didn't go. He was helping, doing something out at the farm. And there was a big giant bonfire and they were bringing all this stuff and throwing it in. And one of the points, people found him laying in the bonfire on fire. And so he had to be taken out of there and gone to the hospital. And so he was up there burned. And they had done the things and found he had had a seizure. So he's in the hospital with a seizure and burned. No visit. Like, what? He's fucking... So, when I say this guy had some challenges in his life, and yeah, he's looking for a mommy to take care of him. I was like 15 years older than him. And at the time, when you're in your 40s, this is the whole thing with women as they get older and you get all this attention from all these young guys, then women think like, oh, see, I still got it. He likes me. And then, but really it's more fetishy. It isn't, there can be some relationships that are based on, spiritual connection that are big age gaps, that's a whole nother role. That's a whole nother situation, a whole nother thing. And, but I think a lot of it is, the same dysfunction is where you have these young girls that want to go be with older guys. They want some kind of security. And then the older person is always the wiser one. They're always telling them, always explaining things like, of course we know better. I mean, we're older. Like, you weren't even born when I was like already living. So it was like, but see, you're constantly beating that person down, constantly beating them down. And so when we went to that counselor, and he said that he daily thought about killing himself. Like, he just wanted to kill himself all the time. He was so miserable being with me. I was like, what? I thought I was the miserable one. No, he was so miserable. And he was constantly trying, like, oh my God, we're constantly having to buy a truck, buy this, buy that, buy a whole fucking thing of tools. Oh my God, it was just nonstop. He could spend my money like nobody's business. And even on disability, I made more than him, so but my disability was all based on being a nurse. So I had a pretty good income for people on disability. And because of the long-term disability too, not just the Social Security. Social Security doesn't pay shit compared to, no, they pay you low. And it's so funny how all these people like, well, I want to get on Medicare. It's shit. It's bullshit. And but sad how my son-in-law just got all that worked out. But that is part of the story. That's part of the impact. That's part of what people, how it affects each person is how it's supposed to affect them. It's what they're supposed to look at in themselves. It's their learning. Anything that comes in your orbit, that you come in contact with, that gives you an emotional feeling is something that for you to process. It's some learning thing for you. And so, for my ex, then, because I had even said, because that's when I left to go make that movie. And when I went, and I was the clothes person on the movie. And the movie's called Ghost. Oh my God, how could I forget what the name of the movie is called? Ghost Note. Ghost Note. It's funny because you can see it on YouTube, because I'll see it pop up and there's like tons and tons of views, and I will send it to my brother. You should just put it on fucking YouTube yourself. Look at these people are getting all these views off of your movie. But anyway, so when I went to go make that movie with him to do the wardrobe and stuff, then, and I was gone for a while, I had said before I left, let's just count this as a separation. Let's just, because our relationship was, I mean, it leaned in worse to me, for me, than it did to him, because of his anger, his drinking and stuff, and he would lose his fucking mind, and he is huge, I've said, and his idea is just make it fit, throw it through, or whatever. He's just, damn. And then, but I gotta look at it as like, why was I putting myself through that? And even when that medium had come and said, when my grandpa would see him behaving like that and acting like that to me, oh, my grandpa would get fuming. He wanted to come, right through this realm and go up there, and because my grandpa was a huge guy too, but my grandpa was peace, very peace. He was like a Gregory Peck. That's why sometimes I'm like, what happened to my dad? Like, it's always a curiosity. But, all of his sons had a severe drinking problem. So, but I don't know that they were all like, perverted in their sexual dysfunction. So, I don't know. My dad had a reputation, that's for sure. And, but so when when I was there, and he would want to fucking talk to me all the time. And it was later in Texas, and it was over here in Washington. And so he would be talking and talking and talking. And I didn't know that he was sitting there just drinking whiskey, because supposedly he was going to stop. It's always this battle of alcohol. Like, why in the fuck am I going through your battle with alcohol? Go do your battle with yourself. I don't need to be involved. That's how we got to get. Like, that's your battle. It's not my battle. Go on with your big old bad self. Go take your whiskey bottle and go have a good time. See where it gets you. And, but, especially for so many women, it has been programmed into us, well, we got to we got to be nice. We can't make it worse. We got to be kind. We got to be there for them. Oh, and then these people always are like, you're never there for me. You're never there for me. You're there for everybody else. You're never there for me. It's like, dude, fuck. I think I know where I'm way more there for you than I've been for anybody before. So fuck off with this shit, And then plus, something with them being young and stuff like that, it also makes you just feel bad for them. Like, I just felt bad for them a lot of times. But anyways, so when I get back from my trip, and I think I'm coming home to this, like, we're going to really work on this. We're really going to go. He's sitting there calling me and talking and talking and talking, where I'm falling asleep on the phone, and his feelings are hurt because I fell asleep. Well, it's goddamn late and I got to get up early. We got to be on the set thing. We got to get out there and, I got to be at work. And there's no fucking around. I don't have time to sit here and drunken talk. This is the shit that I was in the repetitiveness. Like, that's what I went through when I was 16 with my dad. Sit and listen every night. Sit and cry about their life and whine about everything. You sit there listening and talking. Well, you could do this. Well, you could try this. What about this? It's like, fuck off. I've got such a different attitude now. Such a different attitude. Like, yeah, you want to come whining about and crying in your beer to me? Like, take your beer and move on. Go find someone else to cry about with it. I don't have fucking, no thank you. And so when I got back, though, and he was said, first when I got back, he just wasn't coming home. He was just gone all the time. Like, he would go from his one job, and then he would say, well, he had another job that he had to go to, because he kept trying to start his own business. And I had gotten this huge fucking loan for that. Fuck. God damn, I was stupid. I got so much money, sucked out of me from, because the husband before that one, oh my God, that one with his court stuff. I paid so much fucking money to courts for him. Jesus Christ. God, I was a weak ass bitch. No wonder my kids are all just like, oh my God, Mom. It's like, well, I had problems. I don't know how to explain them. None of us do. We just know that we have this need to be loved, to be cared for. And it just feels like that we're always the ones doing something wrong. We got to flip the script. We got to start seeing things differently. And so when he came back, and he just kept not being there, and then he would show up, and I was sure he was drunk. I've had so many fucking drunks sit there and, just drunk as fuck. I haven't been drinking at all. It's all in your head. You're just so crazy all the time. Why you gotta talk crazy? Just go on. It's like, fuck you. God, I'm sick of fucking liars lying. Oh, God damn. At least fucking admit what you're doing. Like, what in the hell? I've never understood lying. Never. And, but, like I gotta say, because my mom, just not from the time I was born. Liars are the worst pieces of shit in the world. A liar is garbage. Garbage people are liars. They're the worst, rotten scum of the world. It's like, yeah, liars suck, man. Liars suck. It's like, fucking be real. Be real. Be honest. Tell the truth. So what? You have consequences. It's your thing. So he, at some point, and this is right, it was right, I was trying to think if it was Thanksgiving. It was right at the holidays. I think I came home right before Thanksgiving, because it had to be right around Thanksgiving. I can't, because I remember the talk when we did the actual breakup. I was going to go up to our shop, because we had a shop, and I was going to go up there and decorate for Christmas for the girls, because there's all the hairdressers and stuff. And then in the downstairs with the tattoo shop. So I was going to go up and decorate in the windows and stuff. And I'd ask him to go, because, when you're a couple, don't you go do couple things together? Go take care of your own business together or something? He wanted to be all the boss of the business all the time. He went, shut the fuck up. He had girls fucking leaving all the time. His drunk ass up there fucking reprimanding people. He just wanted to be a business owner so bad. Oh, fuck off. God, this guy was childish. I cannot believe how much shit I put up with. I just kept on doing it. This is where we have to call ourselves in. We got to call ourselves. Like, I can't go and change him. I can't do anything. I was just going and, being dust in his boots. It was time for me to take a step ahead, step up for me. And so, whatever this, because this was just within 1 week. This all happened. It was right after I got back from this. And so one coming home, just being drunk, I think, because he didn't want to face me. He didn't want to tell me what he wanted to say. And he was just waiting for that hidden opportunity. And so when I had said something about going up there, and, he didn't want to go or whatever, and it's just like, what are we doing? Are we doing, I don't remember, but it was some kind of thing that got me to say something. And he said, we're breaking up. I've already got planned. I'm going to take the camper and the truck, and I'm going to go move. You're going to keep the house. He starts laying out this whole plan. Like, he had it all planned. And this was his house. And it wasn't anything in my name. I couldn't do anything about this house. Even trying to get it, it became an ordeal. And when I was talking to my lawyer and stuff, because I was in my case for my brain injury, I had my lawyer for that. And she said, you need out of that house. That house you're fucked. That loan's fucked, everything. And she's like, you need out of there. That's just fucking you. And so, and he had stopped paying for all the stuff he took. That was all in my name. The camper, the truck, all the stuff that I had bought was all in my name. And he stopped paying. So I stopped paying the house. And ended up getting kicked out eventually. But I was like, fuck this. But when he came to, there was a point when he had come to break up or to say something or something. Maybe to get some stuff. I don't remember. And he was drunk as fuck. And he told me he was choosing alcohol over marriage or over me. And so I said a lot of really good things, but, one of the things I said that I hope really impacted him was, well, when I'm not around and you don't have anybody else to blame for every problem you have, maybe you're going to start seeing the truth, start taking responsibility for yourself. And I said some good things, that hopefully helped him. I have no idea what, for all I know, he's drunk himself into a stupor. For all I know, he's in liver failure. I mean, he'd been drinking whole bottles of whiskey for a long ass time, but my dad, it did for a long ass time. Like it has to do with your time that you have here and what you do with it. That is the after, where you go and review. It's your time and what you do with it. And then all of the interactions you have that push you in one direction or another. And it's always you making the decision, and recognize if you feel like, okay, well, I leaned way too much into my anger, my resentment, my, I don't know, the evil part of us that can pull up things that just hit people right where the parts where we just can stab with our words, punch them in the gut, that part of us. When you see that part, and you acknowledge the pain you've caused. And sometimes you're so in pain, you may not see it until the life review. That's why there's a lot of things you drive yourself crazy trying to figure out, like, how did I do too much? Did I do too little? There's a lot of things like that where you just will be like, just release it. Like there's a lot of things where I'm just like, fuck, we'll see. I mean, there's always this ending. There's always this ending time, this consequence time where you get to go in and review it and see like, oh, fuck, I was kind of harsh. Yeah, I probably wouldn't say that again. Well, yeah, I probably would. You know what I mean? It's all like that. So, and the more awareness that we get in life, the more, the less things that we have to face where we don't see it coming. So the more that we contemplate, the more that we become mindful in our interactions and how we speak to people, then the less things that we have to, coop at the end. So, but that's just part of our evolution as humans, I don't even want to say humans, because that whole thing is like such a creation, as beings of light, of who we really are. This human costume is just, is just the realm that we're in. It's like a Halloween costume. It's like, just because you dressed up as a witch on Halloween doesn't mean you're really a witch. That's the same thing. Just because we're dressed up as a human right now doesn't mean we're really human. We're a lot of things. We're light beings. We're light beings that most of us have gone through multiple experiences of all different aspects of life and living to reach this point of consciousness, to become a part of our own in this evolution that we're going through, this ascension, this choosing the light, bringing ourselves up, escalate, just like there would be people who would think that guy's the bad guy because he left his wife. But that is, what is that called? Like, I can see it, but I can't think of the word. It's weird too, because you can see things in the pictures of the movies or something, and it's like, what is that called? Elevate himself. That's not the word, but put his own feelings ahead of other people's feelings, and not in a way, because this is such a tight thing of that's the gray. Because it's all in, it's so weird, because you have to always choose you. You have to choose what feels right for you. You have to recognize over other people's feelings what's right for you. Like, I'm so glad that husband left me. I would have probably fucking drug it out years more. Fuck. I mean, the amount of shit that I will take and just get up and keep going it's crazy. It's like, come on, Kelly. You don't have to be somebody's doormat. It's like, what the hell? So I'm so happy he left me. And it devastated me at the time. I mean, that was my 4th fucking marriage. My fucking, I mean, I was just getting embarrassing at that point. I had to joke about it my own self. Like, come on. Like, So fourth fucking marriage, this young guy. And then plus he's flirting with my daughters, like just crazy. It's like, oh my God, this is so disgusting, embarrassing. Like, I think I think he wanted to go out with my daughters. It was like, you're just here with me because you need somebody to pay your way. And there was a whole interaction that really made me see him, a few interactions that really made me see him clearly. One of the times when he was dealing with some kind of a money loan thing. And then I got these loans. Some money loan thing to go to school, when he had a girlfriend at the time, and so she went and got the loan. See, this is his pattern. She went and got the loan, and then they broke up, and then he stopped paying it, and they went after her. And he was just like, I don't give a fuck. Fuck her. It's like, oh my gosh, what kind of person are you? I would try and say things, but you know, I should have read the flags a little sooner. You know, I should have not gone in to this relationship. And it was shown to me over and over and over. And then there was another one that had popped into my mind too. Oh yeah, because when we were in there was, goddamn, oh, way too many things pop in my head. But this one time when we were in New Orleans, and let's see, we went one time with some other people. He was so embarrassing. Oh my fucking God. And this was my friend from the time I was 16. So we became friends when we were 16. And then loosely have kept in contact because we don't live near each other. So we've loosely kept in contact over the years. In the last couple of years, you know, she sent me the Christmas update letter or whatever, and I haven't really responded. I don't know, I'm just not into that superficial shit. It's just like, okay. You know, just like to me, when I had people who were local who just wanted to talk to me on Facebook, it's like, okay, we're not friends. We're friends if we interact, if we're doing things together. If you're just, you know, going in and liking my stuff on Facebook, like what kind of relationship is that? Like, what? So, yeah, my perception of relationships is different than a lot of people. But, so when we were in New Orleans, the time with them, oh my God, it was so embarrassing. And I had said all this shit on the way. I was like, please, whatever you do for these couple of days, just a couple of days, please do not do blah, 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 blah. Oh, it was within an hour of being around him. It was like, there's no fucking way. You know, he can't stop himself. He was so fucking embarrassing and so childish and so drunk. There was a point where he was, and this was in the middle of the fucking night, and we had to walk all the way from the quarter all the way over to the Garden District or something like that, I think. It's a jaunt. And then when you get over in this one part, I mean, and you're walking through parts of streets where it's, you know, there's places where you would get robbed, 100%. And there's this one part where we were walking, and he was back there. God, he was so embarrassing. He's back there just drunk talking, drunk stumbling. Oh my God. Adults who get so fucking plastered, it's embarrassing, y'all. It's embarrassing. You just might want to reel it in a little. And so he's just, oh my God, so embarrassing. He's probably yelling things at me, just being rude because that's his go-to. And then I started hearing these weird like whistle things. And I was like, oh fuck. This is a sign. This is signals. This isn't birds. There's not birds out here 2 o'clock in the morning doing this. This is fucking I don't know, muggers signaling to each other. You know, we got one coming. Get ready. And it was so creepy. I stopped, dead ass stopped. I turned around and I said, shut the fuck up. Oh my God, he was so frustrated. What are you talking about? It's like, oh my God. Ugh. And luckily, we were really close to our place at that point. I probably just ran and went in. It's like, okay, it's not like you could protect us. Like, we'll all be stabbed here. He's your fucking drunk ass. I don't know, maybe you could fall on him or something. So, anyways, the, oh yeah, because it was the other trip. The other trip was where he showed his true self, because he was drunk as usual, and kept dancing with this woman. And he kept dancing with her and dancing with her. And she was older than me. She was way bigger than me. She was, she was, I don't know, kind of just out of shape, older woman. And I don't know, he was just really into this dancing with her. And he did this so many times when we would go out. It's like, what is the point of going out with you? All you do is go and hang out with somebody else. But anyways, at some point, he did tell me what was going on with that woman. She's in there telling him she'll give him a blowjob, just like, let's just go over here, let's suck a dick. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. And, that's where you need to worry who I'll leave you for, is her, someone like that. She's got money. She's got a good job. She's, and at this point, I had already lost my license. And so, yeah, he was willing to, this woman who, she'll suck off a stranger over her. And she was as drunk as he was. Like those two, maybe they found each other. Hopefully, they belong together. But just his whole thing, I just showed another part of him, like what his value, how he values. He thinks he's like some hot boy toy, and he just needs a rich woman to take care of him. And when I stopped having, because his mom was so, because she worked at the food thing, so all his whole time when he interacted with her, which I don't know, there was a period of time when they did meet back up and start hanging out again. And I don't know. I think her husband ended up leaving her for another woman. And after that all crashed, then maybe she started talking to her son again. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. But he was so indoctrinated with the nurses thing. She just was obsessed with nurses, and she hated them. She hated them. She thought I was a snot. She did not like him. And I have no idea why it was that he was so obsessed with nurses. I was like, he went around telling everybody he was going to marry a nurse. So that's all in his old wagadoo brain, like thinking that nurses are so rich that's who's going to take care of him his whole life. Like, I have no idea. But he was willing to, dump me and go with this other one as fast as he could. It's just like, and there was another weird thing too, because he would walk in his sleep. And I don't know if it was his medicine for his, what is that called when you have those seizures? Is epilepsy? So, and he drank on that medicine. And see, that's the blood-brain barrier medicine. You're not supposed to be drinking alcohol on top of that. This is a lot of things with a lot of these people. They take antidepressants, anti-anxiety, and then they just pile on some alcohol on top of that. That's not good. And so I don't know, but he would walk in his sleep and do weird shit. And like one morning I came out and I found him, and he was laying like a board, like straight like a board, like he was on something, but he was like, his head was on the couch, and then there's all this space, and then this table, and his feet were on the table. So it was like planked, but most of his body wasn't on anything. It was weird. And it's like, how uncomfortable is that? And there was other weird things, because that house was rough, because it was so haunted, and the woman was so into him. She loved him and she hated me. And she was always doing weird shit. Like she would fucking turn on the water. She's always turning on the water. And she would turn on the water. One time she turned on the shower and turned the water out, so it was flooding the house. And she'd just do all sorts of things. She's always shutting doors. I tried to lock him out one night because he was, gone crazy. And so he got out of the car. He would always do that. He would always, like, if we went out, that was another thing he would do, jump out of the car. I was like, fuck you. And I went home and locked the doors. Or lock it, because at that house, it was a door. There was like an upstairs and a downstairs. And there was a door that came in. You could go down or up. And So I locked the upstairs door. So he could go downstairs. He could go in and go to bed. He could just go downstairs. And uh and I had it locked and stuff. And so he went up and he saw it was locked. And I was in my bedroom, so I could hear him. And he came outside and he was going around. He was so pissed. He's yelling and screaming outside. Fucking, I better open the doors and all this shit. Goes to the front door. It was locked, of course. And then he goes back to the back door again, comes straight ass in. I was like, you fucking bitch, you. God damn that fucking bitch. She's always on his side. Always. She'd go and stand and watch him. Oh, I don't know what her deal was, but she's always. I think it was because when she died, she left her husband and they had been married a long, long time. And I think because they're in the other realm, so they are not seeing as clearly either. They're kind of stuck in their own minds when they're still stuck kind of as a ghost, when they're still trapped in their world and they haven't released it. And so, but it's like kind of like a fantasy. It's like they don't see it clearly. Like when she's looking, she can be looking and seeing her husband. If she doesn't see this is a different person. There's something just weird that it inflicts our vision looking from one realm to the other. So even the spirits that leave out of the body, it's so funny, out of the body, out of the picture screen, and go back to, our true life and dead life and the heavens, then what was I going to say? So when down in the realm, there still is like a confusion or something. And, but that is when they're stuck in a repetition, because there's all different things. Remember, there's all different states of consciousness as people leave. Like there's a really cool story. A girl in the comments was talking about somebody really close to her had just passed, and he came to her before he was even found, before his body was found. He had already come to her. And so that's why I keep saying is that the people, when they leave, they, like for my son-in-law, to do the drugs and stuff, and then to die, and to be in such a dark place that no matter what, you're having a heart attack, you're having seizures, and still got to do that drug. Just don't care at all what happens to you. And then, but his health, he had diabetes since he was a kid. He had a lot of health things that I just thought, man, I never saw him having a long life. That was one thing I never, that's the person when I said I would give a kidney. I had already told him, I will 100% give you a kidney. And so, his health was always, people who have childhood diabetes, if they are, even when they completely 100% take really good care of themselves, it's still, they don't age the same as everybody else. They age very harshly. It's a hard one. And, their body's not firing right the whole damn time. And, we got to get back. But it's also, it's a role. It's a part to come in and play. It's an experience. So all of these things, they were, but they won't always be. It's like a temporary experience all the time. And it's all about this growth. It's all about this expansion. It's about the more we see, the more that we, the more parts we play, the more understanding and compassionate we become as beings. And so, because the more we have understanding, we've played the part, we know, I know how we got there. Oh yeah, I got to get it. And so that's where we, elevate our compassion, is through these incarnations, through these experiences where we can see how things go in other perspectives, through life experience. So all of the things are valid, but they're all changing. Like we're in this huge transitional time. So much of what was before is, it's not going to keep being. It's not like just the fact that looking at ourselves as flesh and bones. I think that's going away quick. Like, I don't think we're going to see like that at all. I think we're going to start having much more deeper understandings of this place, of everything. But so when the people pass, like my son-in-law, or someone who commits suicide, suicide is a big one. And when they see the pain, because that is one thing, like Eric, if you can find that girl's channel, channeling Eric, her son, he had killed himself. And he immediately was back talking to his friends. He was showing up in people's houses. He kept coming to his mom. It's like they can be in such a dark place. But it's once they get out of the body, once they're released from what is overwhelming them, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, fuck. That's why I think there's a lot of like, oh, man, I didn't get through that level. Oh, I almost got through that level that time. I think there's a lot of that when we get to the life review of like, damn, can't believe that I didn't get over that time, you know, because it can take a lot of lives to learn certain lessons. And so when they get over to that side though, and then they want to fix it. They want to help people. When they see people in crisis and crying and feeling so bad, and they feel that pain because they don't have that barrier anymore. They don't have this. So they feel your pain. They feel the intensity, and they want to do everything they can to be there for you and love you and help you through this. And their hands are so tied because people can't hear them. So it's so smart when you really can recognize, and they'll come to you in dreams because that's an easy place to make contact because we can see them. And it's trippy how we can feel them and all that stuff, you know, because that's why we're in these bodies, so we can feel. But then you can go into this dream and you can still feel. Like, that is trippy, because I think that is a huge motivation, because when we're just our energy bodies, we don't feel. Like, you can feel the emotions. Like, you can be around somebody, like that interaction of emotional interaction that bounces back and forth between us all. But we don't get to feel touch. We don't get a taste. We don't get that tingle on our tongue, you know, those things. That's the purpose, so that we can feel and see and sense and all of that. So, you know, that's the point of the bodysuit, the glove, you know, it's trippy because it's like a picture still, and we can animate the picture with our energy, and we can feel what it feels like to feel. So it's really quite interesting. It's so cool to me. So much cooler than this flesh and blood and all of the story they told us. So, but when somebody does pass over, for you to continue your awareness that they just left the picture. They're just out of the picture. They're still there. They're still there. They can still hear you, and they can sense your feelings. Like, you can just talk to them through telepathy. They can hear you. They can sense what you're sending them. And then if you listen and you tune into them, you will feel how they're feeling. You'll feel, and it's all going to be about love. You know, they're not trying to work out, well, you know, last week, if you just would have said this. No, they don't. That's when you pass over. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I was worried about that. It's not even real. That's the part, you know, where you start realizing like, oh my God, the shit I worry about isn't even real. It's because we're in this game. We're in this thing. We're always trying to level up and level up. But this is a very good, impactful time, though, for the leveling up. Because this is the ascension. This is when you get the graduation. This is when you get to, you know, finally, all this ascending, all this doing this work through all these lives. Now we get to get the benefit of it. Now we get to go into having the realms open up for us, having the firmament. And man, I can't believe that there could be other people who aren't having just crazy sky stuff. And the sounds, oh my gosh. I swear to God, it sounds like the firmament is just barely above us. It's just barely above us. And then planes are going weird direct. Like, everything is so weird. And I've seen so much more. Everybody is really expecting September. This is it. This is where shit goes down. This is the money collapse. This is the government changeover. This is everything is going to go. But the best thing is going to be, supposedly, by the end of September, we're going to be living different lives. It's going to be a completely different thing. So once we get through September, which hopefully, because I know that's what it's going to be at some point. It's just, we're waiting for the right dominoes. We got to have, there's a time and place, and it's all going to go down at this time and place. And there's so much more footage with this September 23rd, September 22nd, September 23rd, September 22nd. So I would think, I'm going to be expecting some shit to go down. And then all these people, the astrology saying all the planets, the way they're lining up, like there's so much that is coming together. That is our big turnaround, is when it all comes together and it makes this big shift. It's just going to be like a big bam, and it's going to turn everything. And it's so crazy because it's like the turning, how I see it is this energetic turning, but it is like a bomb goes off. It is like this energetic shift, the energy, but see, in all of it's weird because it's just the micro macro of it all. But as this all is shifting, and we're the ones turning it, we're the ones who are waking up and questioning, going like, what? And so it's us turning it. But it is the turning, all the wave of the people going and stuff. But the turning is it's this abrupt thing, but all of these different, it's like when a bomb goes off and then people are just knocked down. So it's kind of like that, like this energetic turn is just going to just knock people down. It's just going to be like, it's going to be very impactful. It's going to be, and it's going to be on so many different levels. Like I said, for the people who are awake, who have been working on themselves, who haven't been living in fear, but have been consciously aware of what's going on, have been working on their own, your patience. Like, to me, patience is a huge one. I'm constantly being challenged on patience and time. I'm always at a battle with time. So we all have our different things that we're working on. And so if you're working on your things, then you're going to see when the shift happens that all of a sudden you're going to see like, oh, there's great benefits. Oh my gosh, things are starting to go so much better. Things are falling into place. So there's going to be a whole group of people where things are going to start falling into place and things are going to be better. And that's going to be the motivation for the next groups. Like I've said, it's going to be like different groups, but then it won't be really completely, because there's always going to be so much gray in between. So there's always bleed over in all these groups. So everybody's at different levels. There's not just like a set, this level, the chosen level. That's what's good. There's going to be a lot of people who think they're chosen who haven't been doing the work, because they think they're chosen, so they don't have to do the work. I'm chosen. Just because I'm awake, I'm fucking chosen. It's like, ooh, I don't know if I'd go with that one. But that's their lessons, or mine. We'll see. So to me is the people, there will be a group of people who have been doing the work and working on that, and they're going to start seeing the benefit because things are going to turn. And then there's going to be the people who are going to be looking at that group. It's going to give them hope because they've already started on the journey, but it's just, they just started losing things. They just started seeing, they just started understanding what the fight is, so, but their head's in the right place, and they want to do better. And so the people who did the work, that's going to be their role models. It's like, they're going to look up to those people like, okay, you did it. You got through it. How'd you do it? What'd you do? And, so then so many people are going to see so much benefit in helping others when they're going through it. And it's going to be, not trying to convince them. And people are going to be open to it. People are going to be begging for it. Please, please explain to me how you did this. How do I get over this? How did you stop seeing this? How did you stop having nightmares about these people eating kids? Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff. And so, because, any of us who, knew about this stuff, the endless nights where, at first where you can't sleep, you're just sick. You're just like, how do you even live in this world? There's so much evil happening all around us. We've got to witness it. Like, what? the hell. So it's been a rough journey. And so, you know, to recognize what those people, you know, they're going to have to go through some hard times. But it's the other group, the group that, I don't know, I kind of see like this Burning Man group, like when you would hear those people talk and you see, and they all just put on these costumes and they just want to get out there and, you know, have a good time, just mindlessly just do drugs and party and have sex and who cares about anything. Like that mindset, that's going to be, I think, is going to be the hardest hit. I think that's going to be the biggest impact. And I'm still very curious because, so the burn, they didn't burn Sunday night. Or, yeah, was it? See, I'm so confused on them. I think it was Sunday night that they said they were going to burn them. Or maybe it was Monday night, I think. I don't know. When they were going to do the burn the first time or something, they started having another rainstorm or something. So they didn't. And so they didn't burn it that one night. But then there was all this footage of somebody showing us. They must have been showing an old burn. And, you know, I saw footage of this one guy, and he had all this mask on and stuff. And he did this long video about all of this shit going on, FEMA and all that kind of stuff. I thought, this must be where they put these plants in to mislead people. There was lots of people saying, no, FEMA wasn't there. There was no gates. There was no fencing. There was none of that. I don't know. You know, it's weird how you have so much different information. But I would think no matter what, they were contained. No matter what, they were contained out in the desert with a storm that came out of nowhere, that wasn't on the weather. Like the people out there are saying, oh, there was nothing showing there was going to be a storm. But a lot of them were out there for like a week. And I saw people in Vegas saying that we had a week. We were warned about this storm. We were all getting prepared. For them to sit there and say they had no idea that a storm was coming is weird. And so, you know, I don't know. Yeah, the people who are out there are just like, oh, we had no idea there was a storm coming. It wasn't on the weather. It was like, well, are y'all just high? I mean, who knows? We're not there. It's not our life. It's not our experience. The whole thing is that we know what energy, that mindless energy is, that's what has gotten us in all of our trouble. That's what the energy that we're purging out. So the people who carry that energy, like, you know, I mean, they all get opportunities. Like that situation probably pushed a lot of them to get their shit together. I mean, a lot of people were leaving. Every time the ground dried, tons of people were leaving. And I guess tonight, or it might have been last night, I think it's tonight, I saw a guy, and this was creepy too. Somebody was sharing it just because it was so creepy. But he was, you know, it was all, they're always so, yeah, it's burners, you know, we're going to get out there, the burns tonight, we're going to burn them, and all this shit. And then after they do that, and don't forget the next night, we're going to have some other weird pagan ritual thing. And it was so, the stuff he was saying was so like, it was creepy. It was just creepy. I was like, I had no idea. Like, they're all out there doing this ceremonious, like they all see themselves as like this pagan stuff. I was like, I'm not sure what energy you guys are all involved with, but to be mindless and sex and drugs, I would probably guess you're dealing with some dark energy. The light doesn't normally get involved in drugs and mindless sex and stuff. So, I don't know. But the light is there shining for you to make your choice, you know. So there probably was some people who were impacted by the whole thing. It's still going on. It's still going on. There was a lot of people who were leaving because the ground dried. But to me, no matter what, when that storm came in, when they contained those people were contained no matter what. The storm, it was weird how the storm went over there, just like this one cloud goes over and just goes right over them. And then what is going down on them? And like I said, I bet you 75% of them. And that the whole thing with this is that they know the chemical compound that they've created, even though all the different lot numbers, but they definitely know because it was in their studies of what to add on to it. So, and it may not be a quick thing. It may not be where all those people all of a sudden, go home and a week later they're all dead. It could be very well that, over the next year they all develop some sort of weird cancer and they all have the same one. Maybe the next Burner Man show, whatever, they all show up and they're all in wheelchairs together. Like, who knows? Like, I would definitely be concerned if I was just the containing, keeping people there, not letting people go, to gate it. Or there was some sort of thing where they closed the gates and they wouldn't let the people out. I mean, I don't see how that's not containing somebody, imprisoning them, to tell them that you can't move unless we say so. That is a sign that something's going on. And as to me, if it started raining, I don't even know. I don't, who knows, what any of us would have done unless we were there. That's the whole thing of why everything has to happen the way it happens, is so that all those things are learned. Because, look, I don't know. I can sit there and say a lot of things, but I wasn't there. But to me, it definitely seems that they contained them so that they could add something into the experiment to see. Was it just to see, like, well, can we just have a festival and then close it down and tell everybody they have to stay there? Can we do that? Is that, was that their only test? There's got to be something more to it. It wouldn't just be, FEMA doesn't just show up for nothing. And then that was in the news and shit, where it said that FEMA had come out because of the storm and the concern. But then the people who were out there were saying, oh no, they came and dumped the toilets. We didn't have toilets running over. That wasn't a thing. And then you have these other people saying that they can't even get out and do the toilets. The toilets are all full. Like, it's just weird. And then you don't know who's a plant and who's real and who's not. And that's where you just got to let go of some of the stuff. Like, fuck, I don't know. I just feel like when they get a group of us together and they contain us, that they're probably adding something into the mix. There's something they're doing. They don't just waste their time. They're always trying to fucking murder us. So, I don't know. And just the whole thing with the energy that's being purged out of the planet, just all that mindless, just, I don't know. They probably all think they're really ceremonial. That's what I had said for such a long time, is that in this groups, like we have the conservative Christians, and they're bully as fuck. I mean, they're mean. If you don't follow their script over who's the Almighty, and you don't see things through the doctrine, then you obviously you don't know God. That's the God. That's the only God. You're talking about something else. You're talking about the devil. I mean, just the whole thing of my whole life being told I'm talking to the devil. You shouldn't be talking to them. They're the devil. It's like, well, I don't know. Isn't the devil supposed to make you feel bad? Are they supposed to be helping you? Like your devil? Isn't your devil supposed to be? That doesn't make much sense. So, but they keep themselves cut off. They keep themselves cut off from guidance because they were programmed. So, and then when you try and talk about yours, then it's like people think you're weird. People think you're crazy. People think you're talking to the devil and shit. It's like, well, I've been talking to him a long time. I'm telling you, there's no devil. There's not a devil. There's not a goddamn devil. There's good energy and bad energy. There's positive energy, negative energy. It's energy, and it's all a spectrum. You can be so full of the light that people would think you're angelic. But then, are you out of balance? Because, everything has dark and light. You have dark. You are both things. Just like you have to pull sometimes from that one side. You have to play the bad guy. When things just keep going and you can see, what are we going to do? Just live our whole lives just like this? And, somebody's got to be the one that pulls the plug. Says, no, I can't live my life like this. This doesn't feel right. And yeah, I may hurt your feelings. I may destroy our family. but I'm going to have to be responsible. I'm going to have to be the one who picks up the pieces, but I also got a role model to follow your dreams of what makes you feel good. But it also needs to not be this empty, because it's such a fine line, because I'm sure there's guys out there right now who are leaving their wives who are just chasing some skirt. It isn't about love. It's about just the pasture's got to be, the greener grass has got to be over there. So, that is very distinct about intention and stuff. So always question your intention. If you feel, like if you're in that position and you've fallen in love with somebody else, but you don't want to destroy your family, oh my God, you're going to hurt your husband, you're going to hurt your wife, you're going to hurt your kids. Even if your kids are grown, everybody's going to just think you're such garbage, you're such a cheater. But those are the things that you're here to learn, is that love isn't perfect. Love isn't all like, yeah, you can be married to somebody else and fall in love with somebody else. And that is, just because you're wearing a ring doesn't mean that your heart, and don't forget about destiny. Like these people who are going to be coming into your lives to push these certain narratives to get you to look at things differently. And so, but that is where you have to see, what your deal is. Are you just mindlessly leaving your family because, this seems new and exciting? Or are you authentically connected to this other person and you are being pushed to follow your dreams and to, because then that is going to push the other people to grow. You're pushing everybody into their new role. Just like when my son-in-law dying and then my granddaughter being so young, to go through her whole life without her dad, and how many, fucking things that will happen through her life to impact her at different times, and how that will evolve through her life, because that is a part of her role. It's a part of, the hand she was dealt. And so all of them. So even if you are the dad who's leaving the family, and those kids see they just got dealt that hand, their dad's a cheater. That will be something that they'll write on those coattails forever. So many people, well, am I a cheater? Am I going to be a cheater? Is cheating bad? Should I cheat? Should I not cheat? Is he a rotten son of a bitch? Like, that's one of those things you go through as you go through life. It's the different things that happen that get you to look at things differently. Like you go and, you'll have one perspective about it. Then you meet somebody else and they'll tell their story, and they were the other person on the other side and what they went through, and you have compassion, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's so horrible. Nobody should do that. Like, we're all figuring out how we should behave, what we should do. We don't have control over anybody else. That's their repercussions. That's their consequences. That's their lessons. But we can learn from other people's lessons so that we can buffer our own, so that we can pay attention in life, how things work out and stuff. But be so mindful. Like right now is very much not the time to be shallow and stuff. That stuff is going to blow up in your face. So maybe that was the whole thing, just this shallow gathering. And it turned into a big old disaster just to get people to be like, maybe it's not a good thing to just keep going out and doing these shallow gatherings right now. Maybe the earth is trying to tell us something. Maybe the universal energy is trying to redirect things. So, and that could be, and all those people are going to go wake up. But, all of the, because you have all of the Christian conservatives that are so sure that they know everything. Because they've been told their whole lives, it's your problem. If you don't know the Bible and you haven't read it, you are just, you don't even understand about God. Like, that's the only God that's out there, is that, Bible of God. And then you have the progressive people, which, and I had noticed when I was, on YouTube and stuff, just by when you would go and listen to the tarot girls, you couldn't even see them. Like, you didn't even know, like, are they wearing crazy glasses and have crazy colored hair, have a bunch of piercings in their face or whatever? You don't know. because a lot of them you just see their hands, but the things that they will say, or I'll be like, oh, okay, these are progressive people, of course, because there's no Christian girl out there who's reading the cards. No, that's the devil. So of course it's the progressive people. So the progressive people have been the ones who have been going towards the direction of spirituality, pulling free from the religious aspect of it and moving towards spirituality. But that is also, the spirituality is so controlled and misdirected too. And there's so much ego. So there's so much going on that is distorting and interfering with spirituality through this group, just as, religion is being, it's these things coming to the surface. And so all these people, who think of themselves as being so progressive, all these, like, it is funny because that one guy who was saying it's like 70,000 girls with dreadlocks are locked out in the desert. And you see the people, they do all have dreadlocks. Like, what? They really do. And so it is this like group, is a way that a group of people, this is the whole thing too. I've been saying, even when the whole LGBT, when all that was going, it's the dissolving of the groups. It's what we hold on to. We need this group to elevate us, to stand behind us, to be a part of us. And this is all these groups are going to keep dissolving because we got to learn to stand on our own. We got to stand, willing to take our consequences, willing to stand for what we believe in and stuff. And so we have to get to that point as a sovereign being. And so everything else that is trying to keep you trapped in any kind of way, even the fact for them all to get in there, they're burners. Like they've all gone into a group of, so a burner. So what does a burner mean? Let's see. A burner is this, this, and this, and this. So they align themselves with a narrative, with a recipe, with and to me, it's like, you want to be a free being, you don't want to just be like, well, I'm a free being, except for I'm a burner too, because we do this. No, you want to be, if you go to Burning Man, you're, you're just a person, not going into the group. Like you can be gay and not be a part of that, the letters, just because you're gay doesn't mean you're automatically a part of the, let's all buy rainbows. That, and all the stuff that they do, it's all just campaigning all the time. Like how many people they get to go buy all this fucking rainbow shit. And it's all just, it's all this propaganda. It's so ridiculous. And one thing that really gets me is when you see these parents who are, my 4-year-old, they're not really a boy, they're really a girl. They just got handed this penis and now what do we do? It's like, just tell them that they can dress however they want. They can represent. Why do they have to cut off parts? What is wrong with the parents? Why can't you just accept? Yeah, I got a little boy. He's very feminine, but, that's how that goes sometimes. Why? Why do you think that because he's feminine, you have to remove his penis? He has to go on hormone blockers. And if he's sitting there saying, well, I really am a girl. Okay, be a girl. You're a girl that, has a penis. That's just the way it is. Then, if you want to see yourself as a girl, but don't go cutting off your parts and taking hormones and shit. Get comfortable with being odd. Just being odd. Be comfortable with it. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's so much with these parents pushing, well, my child says he's a boy. So, it's like, I don't know. Oh, and that one girl, that I had talked about before, she's got all those syndromes and stuff, and she looks kind of like a hedgehog, the way her head is. Yesterday, she's been doing a lot of videos. She is such a cool person, and she has got the cutest figure. She's got a cute figure, and this very strange, unusual top that goes on top of this cute little figure, and and that is a hard thing right there, I'm sure she has, I'm sure she's been in situations where some boy's been checking her out and then she turns around and they're just like, get kind of scared or something because they're not expecting it. But I think she's so cool because she embraces her uniqueness. She doesn't see it as a problem. She sees it as a gift, and it is to be so unique and to get that experience. But it's not like, I mean, most of us would be like, hell, I'm glad that I didn't get that one. But she rocks it, man. She is such a fucking role model. I just think that girl is going to, I bet you so many more people are just going to keep knowing her, knowing her. I bet you she has a place. She's going to be well known or something. She just really is cool how she embraces it and she explains things, and she doesn't want to say anything's wrong with her. She wants to enjoy her life. She wants to enjoy all this stuff. I think it's so cool. What I was thinking about yesterday is because, I'm sitting and get focused on my goddamn implants. Like, oh, I'm so mad at myself for doing that. Oh, I can't even believe it how mad I am at myself for doing that. And I just hold on to this med bed thing. Once we get in those med beds, I just can't wait for those med beds. And but seeing like that girl, for instance, and I think, well, when she goes in the med bed, like, will she all of a sudden, all that stuff will heal and she'll become this beautiful person. The beauty that's within will shine through, and she won't have those anomalies anymore. She'll be more typical looking. And so I don't know, because I was thinking, there could be people who were like, I want to stay looking this way. This is, what I want to experience this, and really understand that it's just an experience. It's just like, you're playing in the Monopoly game. You always play the guy. And then this time you're going to play the car because you want a different experience. So I don't know. It's very, it's so curious to watch how all of this stuff starts flipping and turning and stuff. And, I'm sure a lot of people like quadriplegics, a lot of people who have been injured throughout this stuff, that, they'll be able to go into the med beds and be fixed. But some of the people like that, where I was like, I wonder if she went into the med bed, if she would say, yeah, change my face. Or she's just is like, oh, I'm happy with who I am. I bet you there will be some people who will be like, but there's so many people going with so many difficulties. I mean, they've done face transplants on people now. Like, people have gotten their faces ripped off. So many things. So there'll be the med bed things are going to be, I think they're going to be busy for a while. Of all of the, and I don't know if it will be, like, I don't know if I get further up in the line because I got a brain injury, and it's a medical malpractice one. So I don't know if they take that into more consideration. There's going to be so much medical malpractice. And I don't know how many med beds are. Like, I don't know. I think it's going to, maybe that'll be when they start talking to us about the money and start explaining to us and trying to help us with the money thing. And that's when they'll start setting up appointments for the med beds and stuff. Or are we going to just find out about the patents and there's going to be money given to people who want to start that as their business, and that they can start building those for communities? They could very well come at it that way, because this is all about us learning our own power. We're the builders. We're the creators. We're the ones who turn things and take them in the direction we want. But so it's going to be all, to kind of help us. Just like what I was saying, it's kind of like the people who already know, it's kind of like the parents to the teenager who's trying to move out. So we're kind of like the teenagers who are trying to move out of this structured environment, this structured life that we've lived for so long. And now we're moving out of that and moving into this other one. And so they've got to kind of walk us through it and help us to, like, I don't know, that one guy was saying helping people just to realize good things can happen. People are so, confirmation. So I don't know, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. I think September is going to be hot. And no matter, if you're doing all the work and you're just feeling so beat down, I'm like, when's it ever going to end? Just keep doing it. Any trigger that comes, even if you feel like, oh, I've done all this healing, and then something happens and somebody triggers you and you're just like, oh my God, have I even healed anything? Why in the world would I be so upset about this? Oh, that can happen for years. So don't get down on yourself because you get triggered and you feel like you've done so much healing. The triggers get easier and easier and easier as you go through them. They get less and less where you have to sit there and feel so down and cry for days and, just letting go and letting go. So they get where it's a lot easier. You just become a lot more trained as you go through it. You're easier to get to the core of it, to release it and just be like, is it so much shit that we have held on to for our whole lives that we had no idea, and they just kept piling on more things to keep us distracted when we really needed to have time to ourselves, have time for reflection, have time to the things, because I sent my daughter a thing the other day, because there's so many people who all think like time to yourself, like a woman, you got to take good care of yourself. You got to do some, put some time into you or whatever, however these things are, but they turn it into, they've got to go spend money on themselves. That is what is, caring about yourself is go spend money on yourself. And so getting out of those kind of thought processes and getting more into, what is really important is for you to have time for yourself so that you can, it's like you need to reflect, but there's more things. There's like a few things that needs to be used with your time, and why reflection just is so loud. Reflection. It all is a part of reflection. It's all a part of, looking at things and thinking about things. And I just saw this guy, and he's a country boy, and he was, trying to get people to listen and stuff. But one thing he said was, being out in the country, living in the country all the time, around trees and stuff. When I go into the city, which I've noticed too, it's intense. And he said, when I go in, I realize that the oxygen, there's something wrong with the oxygen. You can't breathe as well. There's so many toxins. There's so much chemicals and stuff, and it's making people sick. But he said it's an oxygen deprivation. Like they're depriving the people's brains of oxygen in the cities. And that's a part of the thing of not having any trees around. He said, you got to get out in nature and get around trees because it's giving you oxygen to oxygenate your brain. But that is a part of keeping it cut off. That's a part of why people are having dementia and having Alzheimer's and all this stuff. All this, doing all these things and then crossing the blood-brain barrier. They're damaging their brains. And so he was talking about that's why we've got all these people going crazy and shit, is because they've got no oxygen in their brains. So anyways, I was like, well, that is interesting, because I've noticed that there's no trees. And I always notice, like driving into town, even, you see all the chemicals sitting over the town. You can see it. And then you drive in and then it's just chaos. Oh my God. When you're not around everybody's energy, and you go out like this, where it's just my energy and Stella's, and even Stella's energy can really irritate the fuck out of me when she gets into this thing where I'm just the doorman and the treat deliverer of the day. We just go round and round and round. Or we need to go out and go for a walk, then go this whole thing. She gets really stuck on what she wants to do. That'll irritate the fuck out of me. But you go into town and you've got all this, everybody's energy, and it's all conflicting, and everybody's so fast and going and going. It's energy comes outside of your car. Like, I don't care what anybody thinks. Your energy, when you are out there driving, when I'm out here doing these drives and going like, fuck, through the fucking mountain passes, through Seattle traffic, through all that shit, you can feel people's energy come out of the car. You can feel them coming from behind you. You can feel the different energies, the different people's personalities. You can feel when they come up on your ass. You can feel all of it. And so our energy is coming out of our things. I think it even is a part of our driving our car. I think I think things are so much different than what we've been told. Like it's so much different. But just keep in mind when you're in towns and stuff, when you're in cities and compacted in these sardine cans, that everybody's energy is coming out and it's interfering with your own. So I totally agree with that guy. You got to get out of the city some. You got to get out. You got to get away from so many people. And even there's so many people who you're in the city and then you go live in a high rise. There's fucking all this energy is coming out of people's apartments. All this energy is going. It's everywhere. You got to get out and just feel your own energy. Get out of town. Go out to the lake. Go by yourself or take your dog or, one person. And then, but not a person where you're going to just sit like, oh, well, let's just sit and drink together and throw rocks in the lake together today. No, it's got to be an agreed thing. I'm going to go out to the lake today and I need to go sit and just regroup, unplug. Oh, that was one of the things. Unplug yourself. I'm going to go out and regroup and just go sit by the lake. See what happens. Somebody comes walking up and talking to you. That's supposed to happen. It's supposed to all go that way. And you were supposed to be there. You were always going to be there. It was always going to have this interaction. So you set your intention to go out there and unplug and regroup, to sit with yourself, sit in silence, feel your own self, feel your own energy, go through your communication, reconsider how you feel about things, think about things, try and get to that back part, the backyard party, try and get back there, try and get through all the noise so you can get to the whispers. And have them, interact with them as much as you can. And I think it gets easier. I just have an easier time doing it because it's natural. So I don't know. I mean, that's what I say. Like, it's probably when you're trying to work on those things, you're trying to work on your communication and stuff, it's probably a good idea to listen to people who have figured out how to do it. Because, like I said, it just was like natural to me. Like the people were just talking to me ever since I was a little kid. So I've always just been talking to them. I had no idea. I swear to God. I thought I swear, it just has blown me away that wasn't, but it just all makes so much sense because when I would try and talk to people and their reactions and how people, I would always be so confused. And then I would always be so confused when people would laugh at me because I would follow my gut and do things that weren't logical. I don't know. It's just weird. This is the weirdest thing. This whole thing is so trippy. And it's exciting. It's exciting for the things that are going to turn. And to have everything to go. It's going to be in such a much more beautiful thing. But we got to go through this part. Because we wouldn't even have any appreciation. We would tear it down. We would turn the fucking goddamn age of Aquarius into fucking Piscean age if we went just as it is. We got to go down. We got to tear shit down. We got to release. We got to let go. We got to let go of who we thought we were, what we thought life was all about, what we thought success was. We got to let go of all that shit and reconsider it all, Look at everything differently, and I'm, there's just so much with the leaving people, like I said, for me, it was the best thing that ever happened. It was hard. It was hard. It was a slap in the face. It was when, I went into my dark night. It was a hard winter. And I had to face a lot of stuff. The biggest thing was facing, why would I let someone treat me this way? Why? And, when you go in and you started seeing, and then when I realized, like, I was playing a role, I was just playing a role. I didn't even, I couldn't even see. Like, I was just, like the narcissist, the gaslighter, the borderline, the history, all these people, you can only play it with the other player, the person who's playing the other role. A narcissist and a narcissist can't get together. They can't. They would fight before they even, the conflict. It's the roles. We play these roles back and forth. Once we can break our role, once we can see, but yeah, it can make your whole life fall apart. It can make everything change. But that's the change that needs to occur. But it is, you know, and if that guy is, you know, just caught up in like, oh, this hot girl who's been talking to me online, who likes me, and now I like her, and I'm going to leave my family. Well, the family was obviously not, you know, something that he was important to him. And so he needed to acknowledge that change no matter what. Like all the things, no matter what bad role you're playing, the bad guy part you're playing, just really go through, because there's nothing, all the roles have to be played. You're going to have to just deal with it. Sometimes you're going to be the bad guy. I mean, you just can't go through and just always be the good guy. You got to be the bad guy sometimes. You got to have everybody hate you and tell you you're the worst person in the whole wide world. That's just a part of it, you know, and it's a humbling experience to go through this. You need to be willing to humble yourself, to see yourself as the bad guy. And then everything to me is about, you know, just keep in mind that life review. So just kind of put your own life review as you go through life. Go in and really, you know, ask yourself questions. Try and think of things deeper. Look at it more. You know, why am I doing this? What am I trying to gain? What am I trying to chase? Who am I hurting? Is this what I want to do? Like, just go through all the things, you know, but don't be, it's just a part of what people got to face. You know, we are the good guy and the bad guy. We play the different roles for different people. Everything is about us coming into our own. Yeah, we've all, you know, created some messes that, you know, are going to have to go. And all those messes will be cleaned up by the people who are playing the parts, because it's part of their journey. It's a part of what they came to experience, because all things were always going to happen the way they were going to happen. And everybody, every soul knows. It's not a surprise, even though we can't remember. We know everything before we come in. We know what we're in for. We know what the whole experience is going to be. But keep in mind, as a soul, we look at it as a game, you know, but when you get in it, it's like fucking serious. It's like, fuck, I didn't even remember I was in a game. Fuck, that person, you know, it's intense. But when you think of it like that, like, oh my God, this is like fucking game on steroids. Like, you know, people who go gamers wish they could play a game that was this intense, you know? And so anyways, it really is cool. And when you start really understanding more about it, it gives you so much more insight, I think, and so much more to consider and acknowledge and to grow, because it's all about the growth. It's all about this evolution. And that is what this time is all about. And that is the motivation. But we got to remember, there's going to be some people who aren't here to go through this part. They're not here for that part. They're here to impact us, to help us to see things differently. So, you know, some people die so that you know, get your attention and get you to start thinking and things way different. You know, when you have loss, it brings in a different perspective into your life. And so all those things are happening for all different people. And we've got, you know, horrible, big, giant things happening. And so there's just, it's a lot. But everything is going to reach a point of, it's like it all slams together, but it all slams together and it just does this abrupt shift. And I think we're going to all feel it energetically. I think we're going to feel this shift happen. So I don't know, but I'm hoping it's this month. So anyways, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go to the food bank today. I think I'm going to blow it off. I've got my fridge pretty much emptied out. And then I'm going to go on that trip. And then it's like, well, if shit doesn't go down before that, while I'm in town, I'll just go and get a bunch of groceries, load up, and bring them back. And get way more canned meat or something. And so get a bunch of groceries, bring them back, and then just be ready for whatever comes. You know, I wish the wood guy would have come and brought wood. That's a weird thing too, but I don't know. Maybe he's out busy and he just, so, you know, I've definitely got enough wood to get through if we have no power or anything, that I would be able to have enough wood to go a couple weeks, I'm sure. So I'm not going to stress out about it. I'm just going to, you know, get ready as usual, just to get some food, be ready, maybe buy some more candles, because if they do turn out the lights, and we don't have lights, it is very dark here. So I don't know, just get ready for that, and just keep on knowing it's going to be temporary. It's not like we're not going into that for the rest of our lives. We're not going into that to get us in the 15-minute city. The 15-minute cities is all this. That's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. But that's what's going to turn on the brakes and turn us all the other direction. It's just that as all of us who see where they're trying to take us, we're all, hell no. We just got a bunch of people behind us who haven't seen yet. Once they all see, it's going to be a big old shift. So anyways, just don't get beat down by the negativity. No matter all the things, just keep your eyes on the light. Keep remembering the light. The light is ahead. And for people who don't see the light, who don't, if you're just here for this part, just remember, when you come out of your body, you're not dead. Don't get confused. When you come out of your body, just remember, there probably be people right there who will meet you. But if you are consciously aware and you understand and you come out of your body and all of a sudden you realize like, oh, fuck, nobody can hear me. I must have died. Fuck, I'm out of the game. So then just you can go and see people. You can go see your family. And all you do is think of them. As soon as you think of them, you'll be there. You'll be right next to them. So just if you aren't here for that part of the age of Aquarius, this healing, all of this is to me the cedars. I know a lot of people think it's the chosen. I think it's the cedars of the new world. And so if you're not a cedar of the new world and you're going to come, like I said, some people are going to go back to where they came from, but we're going to be so opened. I mean, you would be able to say you have somebody who's really important to you and they die, and then you go through all this stuff and you get to the age of Aquarius and they're still not there. You would be able to go to where they are. You'd be able to go to their planet. This is what is so cool, is this is opening us up to all these realms. Our vibration is holding us back because it's such a deep, dark place. But this elevating ourselves is going to open up everything. So even if you have somebody who, they're Palladian or they're Syrian, or there's some cool footage going around this guy which I don't know if this is for real, but it shows him and he's like in a little, what are those things called? It's not a boat. There's those little one-man boats where people are in like a tube kind of, and their feet are in it. A kayak, I think. I think he was in a kayak, but it could have been a canoe. Maybe you can see his feet. But that's all you see is him going through the water. And on the sides, you see these like icy island things. And so on the one footage where it shows him going, then the other part, it shows this map, like our real map. So it has the ice wall. And there's places in the ice wall that there's openings. And so he's going through an opening, which I don't know. Like, is he in Iceland or Greenland? Like, the ice wall goes all the way around us. So I don't know where he's at or how, because you can't get to Antarctica. And is Antarctica all the way around us? Like, look, we're so lied to. I don't fucking know. But anyway, so he's going through and it shows him. So you see the things and it looks just like on the map. It looks just like the same on the map. And he's going through this opening. And then as he goes through the openings, it's all ice. And then all of a sudden it's ground. It's back to dirt again. So he has to be going past the ice wall. And then the place where he's going, it says it's Thoth or Thoth or something. T-O-T-H or T-H-O-T-H or something like that. And I've seen more than one of these videos. But that is the thing. That, and there's other ones. Like there's like we think we're in this prison, with this firmament and stuff like that. But they're all over the place. It isn't just in that, oh yeah, we would get the same experience. Like we go up, like once we elevate and then we go up and we start going out around all the other realms and we come across the one that is encapsulated. you know, then are we watching? Are we watching? Are we just trying to figure out how we can get in? Are we going, you know what I mean? Because that's what happens here all the time. So, you know, are we going to do the same thing that is done here? Are we going to be now, oh, now I see. Yeah, I want to go in there. I want to go see what they're doing. You know, I want to go see what they're, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think it's going to be super exciting. I think we're headed for exciting times. And I mean, that guy just went on a boat. But, you know, and I don't know his vibration. I don't know. You know, and I know there's portals. Like, or be a low vibration person who walks through a portal and, you know, all of a sudden they're in a different reality. They're not even in the same one anymore. There's like, that's the truth out there. That's what's really going on out there in these woods and world and stuff. Or that's why they got us on these tubes, on this habitat that they keep us in. Otherwise, we'd all just be going through portals, probably disappearing, and they don't want that. They don't want us to know that this world is magic. They got to keep us in here feeling like this world sucks. God, we just got to give them more money for the more taxes. We need them to save us from the climate. They're out here doing all this weather shit, telling us, oh, you got to pay taxes. This is climate. This world is out to get us. Yeah, maybe we need to just fucking turn off all your goddamn weather machines and let's see how things play out. Maybe get the planes out of the sky with all the chemicals. Let's see how that goes. See how we start feeling then. Turn off all these fucking towers and shit. Let's see how that goes. I can't wait. So anyways, just this is another day. Another day. I was looking at it as another day for you to work on you. Because, yeah, you're going to become your best and things are going to switch and everything's going to go good and you got to be ready. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.